Welcome to Simply Always Awake. This channel is dedicated to you if waking up from the dream of separation is what you're interested in. What I mean by this is that we live in a sort of false reality, a reality of thought, a reality that feels separate from those around us, from the world we live in, and even from our own thoughts and emotions. That the way we've learned to process and the way we've learned to function internally feels more and more separate and dysphoric as life goes on. When we come to this realization, we often have an instinct that there might be something deeper, something more authentic, something more profound, a new way of living life. We may come across a text or a person who somehow delivers this message in a specific way that something resonates, a part of ourselves that we've forgotten, an energy or a possibility that seems to have been dormant for years. And when we start to orient to that part of ourself or that part of reality, then the false, separate, thought-based or conceptual self starts to feel a little false, a little unreal, a little more uncomfortable even. At this point, we have a choice. We can either turn back to what we know, or we can move on. We can dig deeper. We can dig in and really give ourselves to the process of plunging into our deepest truth, to a living truth, to letting our identity, our conceptual identity, unravel and find out what's actually there when the false beliefs about who we are have dissipated. This is awakening. And awakening is just the first movement in the process of realization. The process culminates in liberation, which is complete freedom from suffering. It's the end of suffering in this lifetime for you. The process even continues beyond that, but in a very different way. So this channel is structured roughly in order of beginner to someone who has some experience with this, to someone who's ready to really take the dive and wake up, to somebody who's had an awakening and finds himself in that spiritual no person's land that follows, and then someone who is interested in the deeper movements of realization and is ready to clarify and dissolve the remaining perceptual filters, which culminates in liberation. So the first playlist, Basics of Awakening, is for anyone, but most importantly, it's for someone who isn't clear on what this subject is about, whether it's for them, the important factors that get things rolling, what's not so important in this process. The playlist, Awakening Approaches, is a group of videos specifically geared toward someone who has been working toward awakening, is close to awakening, or is coming right to the edge. Then there are playlists on emotion, thought, and some others. These are helpful for anyone, but specifically after awakening, they can be valuable to continue to disentangle identity from thought structures. They can help to work with the inevitable surfacing of repressed emotional material that comes after awakening. The playlist Nonduality is specific to someone who's had an awakening and it has deepened their insight. The mind has become calmer, and yet there's still a sense of physical separation in their environment. The feeling of I'm over here and objects are over there. Colors, forms, shapes, movement, sound are apart from me. My thoughts and emotions are apart from me. This perceptual filter makes things feel divided up and separate when the underlying reality is completely without separation. So the videos in this playlist are specific techniques and approaches to work on that perceptual filter. There's also a playlist on no self, which is roughly equivalent to liberation. I hope you find this content helpful. And please let me know if there's anything you want to see or a playlist that you think would be helpful. Good luck on your journeyless journey.